loop, and people do their dubbing loops in lots of different ways, and I'm going to come forward a little bit, come back in here, and I'm going to wind back here and just catch it this way. This is just one way to make a dubbing loop. If you have a really good dubbing spinner, it always helps. I don't use a really good one, but I need a better one. But this one works fine for what I'm doing. I like to put a little dubbing wax on here. It helps hold the threads of the dubbing, the fibers of the dubbing. Kind of keeps it from being quite so wild. Now, a bit of a trick that you can use when you're working with a dubbing loop is you take like your middle finger and you insert it in the loop, and take your thumb and your index finger and you can pinch it this way. And what you can do is you can open it and shut it this way to add your dubbing. Okay, I'm going to use a bit of an iridescent green here. This is an iridescent green that has a little bit of antron mixed in with it. I think antron is probably one of the miracle fibers of modern fly tying over almost anything else that's out there. I'm not a real big proponent of artificial materials. I really prefer the natural materials in fly tying, but antron is a great exception. Okay. Now what I've done here is I've just added a couple of pinches, as you can see, in between the two sides, and I'm going to take my spinner and I'm going to give it a spin. Spinning it'll make a nice rope. You can move it around a little bit if you need to. Okay. Now, I like to at that point drop my dubbing spinner out of it, come in and grab a pair of hackle pliers, and get a hold of the thread that I'm using there. Now from here I'm going to wind forward to about 3/4 of the length of the shank here, and I'm going to come in and start winding this. Now this is a kind of a brushy looking nymph. I don't care if it's going to be really fuzzy looking. That's what I really want. Now I'll give you a little secret here, and that is putting some head cement underneath here allows, when you wind your dubbing, for the dubbing to stick into that cement, and it'll make a dubbed fly hold up a lot better. Dubbed flies are bad about coming apart, and that's a really good way to keep one together. From here, I'm going to loop it this way, catch it again, and I'm going to leave that hanging like that. Okay. Now, sometimes I make these in two tones of color, so I'll wrap one to here, stop here, and then dub underneath it with a different color. This one today I'm going to leave it just like this for the sake of this video. Now I'm going to wrap my copper wire in on top this way. Make a nice spiral of about 4 wraps probably. Come about like that. Come here and let's catch it right there. Now, it's a good thing when you cut wire to trim it and then curl the tail of it where you've trimmed it underneath this way. I usually do that rather than cutting it too short. If you cut it too short, sometimes it'll back out on you and kind of messes up your whole day. If you'll do it this way and then put a few wraps on top of it. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my thread back behind where my dubbing is stopped. I've got some material here that I've really fallen in love with. That is it's a ribbony material. You can find it in a craft store, and it's actually, of all things, in the wedding ribbon kind of area of the store. What we're going to do here, you notice this has got a beautiful iridescence to it. Okay, I'm going to come in here. It's handy if you don't let this get wound up in here while you're talking. Hold that out of the way. Let's come back and let's wrap down. We're going to catch this piece of ribbon. What I've done is cut just a stripe of the ribbon. The ribbon is laid out in a standard cross pattern like any other woven material. So it creates a bunch of loose fibers when you cut it into a strip. And I can use those in all kinds of ways, so we're going to leave that like that. We're going to come in here, wrap this down. From here, I like to put a drop of head cement right in this area. I'm going to put my head cement underneath right in here. Wind my same dubbing and make a bit of a ball out of it right in here. Catch it here. Wind back. Let's trim it off clean at this point. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come and take this piece that I've folded back. I tied this back, and I'm going to bring it over the top just like this, and I'm going to press it in here right behind the eye of the hook and catch all those fibers right there. Now, if you want to, you can take this and strip it out like this. And sometimes I do that. I strip it out and I tie it back and make like some legs coming back. But for the sake of this one today, we're going to fold it up this way, pull all this up tight, run the scissors down, clean it off like that. Now I know most of you have seen various what they call epoxy-backed flies. Okay, well this is a great fly to make epoxy back. Okay, because this ribbon, its iridescence, it will absolutely glow when you do the epoxy back with it. Something that also works is to take gel type super glue and come in here and put a drop of gel type super glue and run it in like that. Clean it up a little bit. You don't want it too much of this all around. Now notice how it's created an iridescence. As that dries, it's going to have that epoxy back appearance. I've got a couple loose fibers here I want to clean up that came out. This is one of my very favorite nymphs. I've caught lots of fish on it, everything from warm water species to rainbows, and I caught a very nice 24-inch rainbow in Colorado on it the last time I was there. You can weight it, you can unweight it, you can beat it, you can leave it unbeaten. It's really a great and simple fly.